Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Dreaad podcast. Glad to be back with you guys. Today, we're gonna be talking about what women don't realize men go through. Obviously, from a man's perspective, not from a complaint point of view or a gender war point of view, but just more from a human point of view. I think this is something that the topic could help a lot of people. Just if we understood each other better. It's not really
Definitely.
to not really to put the blame on anyone. It's more just about understanding. Because the truth is, men and women interact with each other, desire each other, love each other, but I think misunderstand each other a lot.
I mean, isn't that the best?
I mean, really, that's what makes it all interesting,
Sleepless nights from a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I mean, it leads to I feel like leads to relationships getting broken up and just I think it messes people up just feeling like they're not understood. No matter who you are, it's gonna wreak havoc on you at some point eventually.
Oh, definitely. It's communication skills are the number one things of keeping a relationship. Whether it be romantically or business relationship.
Yeah, across
And I
the
think,
table.
yeah, and I think that I think is a great place to start.
So
So
what
many
would you
for
say to what would you say to like a starting with something simple, like silence. Like you hear it be said a lot that men don't talk. And I could sort of agree with that to some extent. I could agree that men don't really talk um too much when it comes to maybe their relationship or about themselves. And I feel like it could come across like men don't care or we don't care. Um
I
but
mean, but do we have to?
well,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know your kid's name. Like, who cares? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
and it's like, do you need to know them? It's
yeah.
debatable. I don't know.
I think I'm good. Like,
Am I'm not bothered by that either. I think it's a guy thing. I'm like, okay, I
yeah,
don't
but I mean, if
I think I'd be
one of
surprised if you did name them. I'd be like, oh shit, what the fuck? I didn't expect that.
exactly, you don't expect it because it's not something that our social contract um dictates or even begs for.
But
They're
see, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, no, please.
I think I was gonna say I think we're hardwired that way, but I feel like little boys, you get taught emotional management versus emotional expression. Like
Oh, please go on.
you don't get as a little boy you don't get asked what happened or are you okay or what does that make you feel. Women or little girls are taught more to articulate their emotions, and I think men are taught more to survive them or just weather through them, if that makes sense.
Would you say that, okay, let's say we look at two people that have gotten through it, right? A young woman and a young man. We have an idea that the woman is capable of expressing these emotions because she's been doing it all her life, right? And I don't think that's the case. First of all, not as a hate thing or anything like that, but not everybody is capable, right? We see we see women try to express emotion that shouldn't be expressed, i.e. Karens, right? That's a perfect example of there's being no reason to be having a fit. But we also have, the other end of the spectrum where we have a bunch of young men running around the streets and alleyways around where they live, shooting at each other while on live, running one hand out with a camera and completely suppressing what should be felt in those moments, which is complete terror, as their life could and has ended in multiple cases, could and does, and yet the entire point of the social push and game that they're playing is to show that you're not capable of feeling what you should be feeling. You know,
I could agree with that.
it's one thing to put it on pause for a moment. You know, we do glorify young men doing backflips on skateboards. You know, but we also understand that that's not the end goal isn't complete bodily harm. You know, the goal is something beautiful. So like there is that is more towards the expression of male energy, right? But there is this whole mess that is, who's gonna carry the boat? And I'm not. I just love saying it, to tell you the truth. But like,
No, but
it,
that's accurate.
and it's not that he's saying you shouldn't feel the emotions that you're feeling. He actually is the complete opposite. He's more of like, everything is overcomable, which is fine. But, people use that idea to say, oh, I shouldn't feel fear. That's not good.
Yeah, I feel like that's channeling it the wrong way. It's kind of like
Yeah.
backwards, if it makes sense. Like, nah, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. You're trying to catch the punch by going forward, which if you can go forward far enough, yes, you can, but like, you can only do that how many times?
Yeah, and therein lies, I think I get that point because therein lies like boys or men, they learn to be like strong and brave before they learn to be human. Like what you talked about, certain people being capable. Like you don't learn what you're capable of or what your natural emotional like levels or capabilities might be before you're told like, hey, like boys are strong, get up, you're fine. Like, and I'm not saying like not to be those things. I'm just saying when that gets driven in first, that's like your bottom line. You become like a stunt double for your own emotions. Like you take the hit, like you said, but they act like nothing happened. And sometimes you should be acknowledging like that something happened.
Yeah.
Like nobody
The,
handed us a vocabulary for like fear, sadness, shame, loneliness, insecurities. It's sometimes difficult. I feel like for men, generally not all men, but some to just they don't know how to express in those areas. And then you get people running around, like you said, on live shooting each other up.
but yeah,
And
I was telling you, what was it? Halloween was out on Halloween. I saw two different fights. I saw I mean, it was clearly like a bunch of kids came running at the other kids with their phones like already recording, and a couple dudes swinging. Like it's I don't know. It's very interesting where what's getting hit for certain like demographics, because if you look at young men that like in Napa, I saw them getting hit with a lot of like tough mudder energy. You know what I mean? But like that's the same mentality. Not as good, mind you, but like the whole idea is to like slowly trick a person into like doing a military boot camp to have like a mental awakening, which like it does it is effective for something, right? Just like completely neutering your sense of fear, like it does do something. there is an outcome that like you may see as positive, right? I mean, and like I get it. If you're constantly in a state of fear, being able to go, hey, I never have to feel that again. That is a pretty effective. Like it makes sense. Um,
Definitely convincing. Yeah, like, okay, what? I don't have
yeah,
to.
but just the fact that it makes sense is like, yeah, that's such a dumb man thing, you know. We can like some things sometimes, we have to accept that something makes sense, but it just shouldn't happen, like that's I mean, that's a little side quest of a problem that men really deal with that just no one but a man can hear, let me tell you, of having to say no to something even though like logically you should just say yes. Like you go like there's a game, like game theory happens in your head, right? Do you take the money? It's like, yes, I take the money. I always take, like, you should
It's
always
simple.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the most like it leads to the most positive outcomes possible. So it's like, okay, but like a man like does have to go, oh wait, no, like that makes perfectly logical sense, but no, definitely not.
Can't accept the help. Can't do it.
Nope, can't do it. No, we'll move on. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
And see, a question about that. Do men get the option to be anything else? Do you think, like, would you say there's a stigma for men to take the harder road? Or is it more self-inflicted, like we do it to ourselves? Which the choice is always ours, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, like, is there like this overwhelming stigma that we get like influenced by, or would you say we just happen to choose? Is it like a pride thing? Is it,
I don't think that's a male thing. I think it's more a human mindset, the like desire to overcome something. Even women giving birth, you hear like, oh, I was in labor for 48 hours, and everyone goes, oh my God, you did it.
yeah, that's amazing, like type shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we as humans, I think, love that overcoming of something.
So even would you say even unnecessarily, like with the money, like, yeah, I got it on myself. It's like, oh well,
Yeah. Yes, and I think you started off a really great idea. So because we like that success and that overcoming so much, men, just men in particular, cannot talk about how they have completely failed and are done. That is, they can talk about once they've succeeded again, but once a man has stopped succeeding, he has no one cares. No one wants to hear it. It is completely, what have you done for me lately, with men. Even sadly, even some male friendships. Like that is a hump that male friendships have to get over. And like lots of them never do. Yeah, which is, I mean, that's, but that is part of the male energy that makes, I think, exactly what you were touching on, this desire to make everything a major success that disorients men to such a degree that we have, you know, forex.
we go against logic in a way, like
Yeah, we
to
go,
to to achieve that
yeah,
overcome an obstacle or get that feeling.
yeah.
Because I do know it's almost like, when you have like a checklist and you're completing your checklist and you're checking things off that list, it gives you a hit of dopamine to your brain.
Mhm.
So it's almost like I've even wrote things down so I could check it off. Now looking back, I'm like, That's because I wanted that hit of dopamine. That's what I was trying to get, like that feeling of overcoming, that satisfaction of being like,
Yeah,
yes, sir, got him.
yeah.
Even though it's like
Yeah.
sometimes simple, maybe even unnecessary. Yeah. Okay.
No, but like that's a better place. Like that's a better place to be in the dopamine stick, you know, that like almost can't take the dopamine increases,
Yeah.
right? That's I think that's another thing that I think a lot of women don't know about. And that is the dopamine addiction that young men go through.
And it gets harder and harder, like you said, to achieve that, like
Yeah.
through um successes, like you said. Once you succeed so much and you stop succeeding, or your success slows to a degree, it is very much like that feeling of becoming irrelevant, or like, you don't hear too much. It's always just about like, what's the next, what are you.
One of the most popular things to spend money on for young men, like 13 and up. Now, how are these 13-year-olds doing what I'm about to talk about? Who knows? But it's online gambling, sports gambling. It's so popular among young men that I really don't like. I would love this is where I would love the people that listen to us to answer a question. What is the equivalent for women to the consistent dopamine rise and crash of sports gambling on Sunday and Saturday? Oh, also Monday. Also Thursday and Friday.
And then let's expand on that just a bit. Would you say, and it's still piggybacking on your question, for the young man, like the gambling side, would you say what drives that? Would you say it's the achieving, like just winning? Like, I was right, I bet on this, it hit, I was right. Or that there's a chance that they could hit it big and it's a faster way to achieve like a level of
A different
success.
achievement. Yeah. I think there's both. I think there's both going on. I think
Agreed.
obviously the more purist gambler would be the first one. Um, you know, those are the guys whether they're whether they're the barback taking a $1 bet on whether this punt is gonna go through, or they're like an old guy cheese shit on a golf course playing like $1,000 a hole with his buddy as they smoke cigars and drink beers.
Okay.
And like at the end of the day, the whole idea is to like lose the last hole to the caddy anyway, so that you can tip him big. It's like, okay, well, it's like that's still like this rush of gambling that like you can't escape. But like that's very purist.
Yeah.
That is
Fair.
very purist. I think the second one I think is where we get into the dangerous male behavior. And I think it can be related to the hype beast drop culture.
Okay.
There's this idea that like, oh, you gotta get it now or it'll be, $500 next. And that's nice. I get it. But it is a t-shirt, you know. It doesn't actually have value. Um, like this is why like Bitcoin is so different, but like we're not gonna talk about that. That's a whole different like male thought. I don't want to say thought trap, but it's become a thought trap. But specifically with this drop culture, like we're seeing this desire to buy something, show it off for social status, sell it for an increase in monetary status to create a vicious cycle, and at each point increasing the amount of dopamine for the male. Like that's dangerous. That's okay. I do my drugs so I can sell my pee. So I can, like, you know what I mean? Like
Just leads
there's
to bad. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and like I think that's where the gambling for like clout is kind of like I see Drake doing this. I think if you're a real purist gambler, you're gambling. Nobody really knows if you're up or you're down or how much money you put on something. You
you
know,
could have been like striking out, but you're still gambling.
yeah,
You're like, I don't.
yeah,
It doesn't bother you.
yeah, exactly. You're just like, I mean, you love the rush of it. Like,
Anticipation.
yeah. You go to some bars and you're not allowed to ask who you got because that's like that's putting a hex on your money.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's it's I mean, but like that's okay. So now we have this gambling culture seeping into a very common male gathering place that is restricting how we speak. It's superstitious and dumb, but like that's lots of human behavior, to be fair. But that is the male answer to something. Oh no, like we're not going to talk about it. It'll put a hex on it if we talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll pray about it. You can say you're praying for me and that's it. But like we're gonna move on.
Deal with it internally, quietly.
Yeah, send your prayers my way. I need them. But
You be dealing with a whole life crisis just quietly,
yeah, nobody know.
just keeping it to yourself. Yeah.
But like that's kind of how I feel like gambling should be. If you're up, nobody should know. If you're down, nobody should know.
That's the best way to play it.
I mean,
Even kill.
but is that psychotic?
Maybe to a degree. I wouldn't say full blown because it's like there's this like men, you never want to be seen as weak. And not that, you know, losing a bet makes you weak, but like you said, whether you're up or down, if you're just striking out, you could be seen as weak or just lesser than, I guess, say like your standard.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, just it's in the name. You lost. You're a loser.
Think
Loser, baby. uh,
see that shit right there? No, so
no, but
yeah,
exactly,
but
exactly.
yeah, yeah. And that's what, it all gets internalized. But I think over time that, that's like it's it's killing you or killing men. Like that will kill somebody eventually. Just keeping all those things like internalized.
Yeah, yeah, but like that's why I think like again, this is men having a physical release direction, physical release valve, and that is not banging a hooker. Okay, like that is not what I'm talking about. I am dead. Like that's not what this is.
I mean, a healthy release,
I mean, yeah, exactly,
of
exactly, or even a
course.
semi-unhealthy release. Like maybe you want to have a box like spar boxing. That's semi-unhealthy, but guess what? That is going to release so much pent-up energy, and you're doing it with someone that knows how to protect themselves, and I mean, will punish you if you don't get it all out correctly being the key word. You can't just swing, you're going to get cleaned. Like it's the male psyche has to be channeled correctly. And like that's I think one of the biggest issues is correctly is so hard to figure out for each person. It does have to be something physical. That's just how testosterone works. So let's think of something physical and then something that will put your body in a state that your mind will allow to release some pent up ideas. Like I think I think jumping rope's one of the best ones. I really do, because it's so punishing to just a small area that such a brutal amount can be done to that, specifically that muscle, that your mind can really just like dump ideas for to fuel through the burning, throbbing calves. And I think that's very important. For some people, it might be, jujitsu. That's a bummer. I'm sorry. You need another person.
I don't.
But like, there's also a positive to that, right?
Mhm.
Now we have a positive male bond that is involving a release of tension in a positive way. That isn't having sex with a gay hooker. It's just, okay, this is a positive male space now. Now it's built, like it's grown just by, you know, naturally how men behave.
Yeah.
Which, that's why, baseball, like softball leagues, hey, that's a really big deal. Get out there, run around the bases, swing the bat, yell at the other team,
Yep.
you know, and then your buddies are right there along with you. No punches need to be thrown, just a release, an extension, and hopefully a reset. Like, do you feel like a reset is more possible for a man than a woman?
I want to say yes, but I don't think so.
Mm,
I think I think both could maybe be equally capable
mhm.
of a reset. But generally speaking, probably like it's probably easier for men. I think we're good at like changing or moving forward onto some like kind of how you put like what's your next success or grand thing, so if we need to change or reset to get there, like I think it's just easier for us to do that. Like we have no problem just stepping forward and
I
kind of just
agree.
being like, all right, I was just fucking up
I
right there.
agree.
So
And
just
and you did a great job dodging the trap. I told you, at the people listening, I told you we are not misogynists. I think a great way to put what you're talking about is compartmentalization. And that's the next thing I thought we should touch on.
absolutely.
Everything about men is compartmentalized. The amount of effort and skill that it usually takes to go beyond a compartment such as coworker to coworker and friend is monumentous amounts of energy in male minds. Now, sometimes, like in the case of you and I, for some reason there was just a door and the door worked. That was crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how that happened, but it was very weird, and that's not a normal experience. But
Yeah,
it
agreed.
it does happen occasionally. My brother has a friend where they met, on the corner during like Porch Fest or something like that, and they play guitar together or something like that. And it, like, they could just play together and it just worked. And it's like, okay, well, that's cool. There are some dudes that just vibe, but that's still, you know, that doesn't go beyond those compartments. You know, that's still this section. And I think that's one of the stranger occurrences for men is, we have a coworker. Oh, well, they just had a kid. Well, the kid's healthy. Great. The kid's healthy. I know nothing else. Why would I? I'm that's home life. That's a completely separate compartment of this of male energy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he doesn't want to talk about that at the moment. I don't want, like, you know,
You're
you
like,
don't
I
just go
usually keep
not.
it separate. Why wouldn't he? Like, it's
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so there's this almost like a social male contract of continuous compartmentalization that, I mean, befuddles women to the point of like, oh yeah, I didn't know my friend had a breakup last year. He'd been married for a year and a half. I had no idea. Oops. I
like, how did
mean,
you not know that?
I don't know. I spoke to him
I
like
didn't ask him and he
once a
didn't say.
month. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we
We
just
talked
talked.
about something else.
I was like, did you see the game? Oh, yeah, I did. And we talking about that. And that's the daily kind of, he
Yeah.
didn't come in saying, hey, I'm getting divorced or what have you.
No,
Or I'm leaving
exactly.
my girl or vice versa. Like, I don't, like you said, most men keep that internalized. They keep it to themselves. They don't even usually express it when they're by themselves. You still just keep it in, like, for whatever reason.
Yeah. And obviously that last part is something that you and I both believe should change. You know,
100%.
hit a heavy bag. You know, really dig in and hit a heavy bag for as long as you can.
Yeah, just let it go. Go run. I used to go run super hard if I was upset. And then by the time I came back, I was too exhausted to still be pissed. I was like,
Yeah.
well, I'm on some other shit. Now I need to smoke. I'm on something else. I ran it out. Like they say, you run it out, you do whatever you gotta do.
Yeah. No, I was sadly my knees were never the best, so I usually didn't run it out. I would like walk. I would end up walking like 7 miles. It's like, now
Yeah,
I
but you're
just,
done. That's a long
yeah,
ass walk.
now you're just fucking exhausted.
Which is essentially to me has the same result. Like, yeah, you're just burnt out. You worked all of it out because it all just manifests itself as tension
Yeah.
and just like sometimes like a claustrophobic feeling, like an overwhelmed feeling that you don't know
Hmm.
what to do with.
Yeah. I really recommend swimming if you have the option. I don't know if anyone young listens to us, but swim. It's very hard. It will tire you out so quick. Just if the water is trying to kill you, just
It never
it is
stops.
a real fucking fight.
It's healthy too, though. It's easy on your joints and shit. It doesn't
Yeah,
like put any real like harmful wear on you. So I mean, shit.
and you will get stronger. It is like calisthenics. You will get strong in a weird way, but
In
you
a
know,
good way.
yes, in a great way, in a great way. I I think one of the beauties of humans getting into weed talk. One of the beauties of humans is like how long we stretch out, right? And how good we like pull back in. Like it is so cool to go just like how much like distance we cover, what we can do just because we can do that. Like climbing a tree. Like we can just climb a tree just because we can extend and contract. Oh, yeah.
Crucial. Crucial.
Crucial is right. Yeah. And man, being a pig would suck.
Talk about limited motion and like perspective. You could
Yeah.
probably only see like so much. You can't just look behind you. Like we could just look behind us all of us quick.
I used to do landscaping for this guy, and he would say the only difference between a human and a pig is a pig stares at asshole all day. And I never really knew what he was talking about in like did he mean like you have to separate yourself from bad people or else like you're no good no better than a farm animal or like literally if you stare at something dirty and disgusting like your life will become that. I don't know.
Or did he mean they literally stare like
Staring at buttholes. Yeah, I mean, they
I
do
like how
literally
you
stare
took
at
it deep
assholes.
too. You were like, is this like some philosophical shit he just said? Or does he literally mean like, no, I'm just
Well,
straight up?
okay, so like
Because either could kind of like,
we had talked philosophy previously, so he might have been doing the like double bluff where it was like this is
it's a,
clearly
it's a
oh,
double entendre. It could mean two things. Fuck.
oh,
But I mean, it's funny because that's another thing. Like for men, it is, largely we get told our worth is in like your utility, I guess you could say.
if you don't have a use.
Can you fix it? Can you pay it? Can you solve it? Can you handle it? Type of stuff. And I don't think men mind that necessarily. Like I'm speaking generally. I don't like we don't mind being strong. We don't mind being like a protector, provider. But if there's moments where we're not exactly useful, you would still just expect like to be seen and treated the same. You know what I mean? Like it just basically comes down to no one could be at their best all the time, regardless of effort. It just doesn't work that way.
Sadly,
Yeah. Sadly,
you know,
unfortunately.
sadly. But it's I think it's easier to think about from a logical standpoint. The more you know about like engineering tolerances and where like an engine is only its best for what 100 200 300 miles, and then just slight decrease, slowly you lose power, slowly you lose horsepower, slowly you lose vacuum pressure, just little by little. And I mean, we are just the ultimate machine, the ultimate organic machine. We're home to microbes. We're like a massive microbe Gundam, like almost entirely. And like we have to remember, like there is so much decrease in function, unless you start overclocking,
True.
you know. And it's like, hey, you want to keep talking about problems men that women don't understand. Let's talk about talk overclocking. The the current craze of ads for a brand Rougiette. Now, obviously, dick pills everywhere. Literally, you can't go to any gas station without seeing them. You can't go to any CVS without seeing them.
It's crazy in recent years how much like advertising is going on.
I mean, it's completely out of control.
Like I never
Now,
used to see that shit. I never used to see it on TV, and now like every other commercial, I'm like awkward.
it's insane. It's insane. So that obviously, um, all men know because literally we have to hear commercials for it nonstop. There are two main chemicals. I'm not going to say them. This isn't an ad. There's two main chemicals. They do slightly different things but the same outcome. This new company, Rougiette, their main push point for these ads is one of those isn't good enough. You should be attacking the problem from 2 points, chemical A and chemical B. Now, this is classic appeal to logic. This is one of the most effective ways men are marketed to. Because in our brain, we have to say, well, this makes complete sense, but I have to say no. Because it is true. You should be attacking a problem from two directions. That's how you solve most problems most effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
Increasing your blood pressure and the strain on your heart from two directions is not what you should be doing. Just saying. Just saying. Like you shouldn't be like taking a pill that purposely raises your blood pressure and vasodilates, which it is very effective. It does help. Like the idea of like a vasodilator is that it does open your blood flow. It does help with that. It also increases your blood pressure. Now, that's not usually an issue. Most people only have an erection for an hour max. Okay, so now what if we also add a pill that wants you to keep your blood pressure, it keeps your blood pressure high for longer on purpose. So now we've gone to an hour to your blood pressure being high and the vasodilation being extended from 1 hour to 12 hours. Okay, well, that can't be good. You take one or the other. Now, there's a lot of stuff we could talk about. We could talk about the mass porn addiction and Rugiet's ad campaign being an aspect of that. And we won't, we'll maybe pause and we'll come back to that. But Rugiet is introducing a third chemical. And the entire idea of the third chemical is to increase your desire to have sex.
So they're putting in a third drug. See, they put in a third drug along with the other two. So this one increases your desire to have sex. But if you got the pill already, don't you have the desire right there? Like, hey, I would like to.
Okay.
Like,
so this is where we get into, I think women don't understand where the current male population really is. This is like the nitty gritty and like the most painful aspect of what men are going through. I would say 50% of the male population is addicted to porn. I think that's that's fair. I don't like that's I feel like I'm giving large amounts of like release.
I would say more.
I know. I'm saying 50% because I'm trying to be really generous to my brothers. Like it's bad. It's really
Why do you think that is?
well, I think a lot of it has to do with the dopamine exposure early. I think it's obviously a roller coaster of dopamine. You want a little bit, then obviously a little more. You peak out, let's say you're, I don't know, a pervert for like as a 5-year-old, you know, people realize that your kid is talking about boobs. Like, okay, well, that's like completely inappropriate. Everybody would understand that that's completely inappropriate. But as soon as they're 10, no one is like, oh, well, of course the kids are watching. Everyone is just giving up. Of course the kids are watching porn. Like, yeah, I have to take away their school iPads because they're they're passing porn around. Like, they're going around our firewalls. They figured out what Yandex is. Like, I'm hearing this and I'm like, okay, well, maybe don't give up. Maybe don't like this isn't like where these young men should be because they're not even young men yet.
It's become, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's become commonplace is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
And
I could agree with that. I think a lot of it is early exposure and parents like giving up too easy or just uh converting it to the norm. Like, yeah, well, all boys do that shit. We all catch them.
which is understandable. There is a level of curiosity that every boy has because as soon as we just get a glimpse of testosterone, it fuels us. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there really isn't. There's nothing wrong with exploring what the world is visually. Now, obviously, that has overwhelmed most young men's lives.
Yeah.
Instagram has, what's their average screen time for young men? Like 10 hours? Like, it's horrible.
Like more than half your day?
It's horrible. And it's literally just ass after ass after ass after ass, and then tits, and then, oh, back to ass. It's, and you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have an Instagram right now. Haven't for years.
It's out there like that, man.
I assumed, but there's a reason. It's because all
Makes me
these young
sound like
men,
but I'm just saying, like, if you on Instagram, you know what's out
you
there. Like,
can't, yeah, I'm
I'm
sure
just
you can't
keeping it
help
a
it.
100. Yeah, I'm just keeping it 100. Like, I don't have a lot of interest in like that bullshit, but
But
you
they
know it's out
think you
there. That
might.
like,
They think you might. And as you're scrolling, they're tracking your eyes. So even if you do look at it and scroll past it, they understand that you looked at it in a certain way. They
yeah, it's
saw your
down to like
pupils
counting
dilate.
the seconds you're on a post.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
Like, they know, like,
if these young men have, grown up with this, right? They are getting to the point where they are so visually oversexed that they are not having the same desire to have relations with young women, their peers. Now, this may be because they've gone from a state of hypernormal stimulus. Usually the porn addiction comes with what is called bimbos, which is usually massive fake plastic attachments. Now, but there's a reason for this. This is called supernormal stimuli, excuse me. And you see it with bugs constantly. Colors that don't happen normally in nature that hit their wavelengths in a certain way, they become super attracted to. You know, there's certain umbrellas that just attract birds just from the patterns on them. Why? I don't know. But those are super normal stimuli to them. And to us, what a supernormal stimuli is huge fake tits. That's not normal. It's not what we should and understand we should be seeing, but it's hyper stimulating because it is something that we should like. It's just contorted. And now our brain doesn't know what to do with it except like it even more, which is, I mean, pretty cool. Pretty cool, but like not good.
like the effect is cool,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but
the
it's like,
literal application here is not.
but like there's young men doing interviews and they're just talking about, it's like, oh yeah, like if she doesn't have fake tits, I'm probably not into her. It's like, okay, well, that's crazy, but that's a great example of, some people would say call it porn addiction. I would just say it's overexposure to hypernormal stimuli. But that's the type of person that is out here going to take a Rugiette so he can say, oh yeah, like I totally want to go on a date with you, Allie. Like Brenda and me and you, we're gonna go out. I had to take these pills, but like, shout out to Alistair, by the way. You know, I know he'll appreciate that. There's this idea that like there's also this idea that men have to have a strong sexual desire constantly, right?
Yeah, I could say that's fair.
Now, a lot of these single men that are getting advertised to, especially, which is crazy, by the way. Most people that buy dick pills are single. They're not in a relationship, and that's okay. Whatever. We could talk about that at some other time because I don't know what's going on there. But preparedness is also a sickness of men. Preparedness for the wrong things, you know. Um, uh,
That's a fair
and
statement.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, I can't even tell you how many people I know that have taken erection ED pills and don't need it, like but like on purpose. And you know, they tell you this, and it's like, oh, isn't that cool? It's like, no, what are you talking about? Why would that be cool? And it's like, oh, but like it's like getting a really like good pre-workout. They've been porn brained into thinking that they can express like the same hypernormal stimuli that they're seeing, you know?
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I knew I was gonna get there.
I follow. I follow. No, yeah,
I'm
right there. It
hosted
connected it. All right.
hosted today.
Nah, you're
But
cooking,
like
my boy. Cooking.
there's
So they're trying to imitate what they're so drawn to.
yeah. Yeah. But because they're incapable of succeeding for that, they're lacking the sex drive. But because they're lacking the sex drive, they're seeing themselves as not a man because there's a
That makes sense.
societal tinge. So then they have this desire to get the pill. I don't know. It's I don't know. I feel like it's psycho behavior, to tell
Yeah,
you
it
the
still
truth.
feeds the wrong. I get what. No, I
Yeah.
follow. It feeds the wrong thing. Because typical, like you said, society and the influence and stigma is that, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But there was
See,
a
but
oh
I feel
yeah.
like all that just stems from confidence. Like, if you haven't, I mean, not all the time. I guess there is medical real. I'm not trying to knock, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
I'm not
Hmm.
here to do that shit, but
Yeah.
there, a lot of it is, it's mental. It's like mental. It's what your brain's firing off to the rest of your body kind of thing, you know? Like,
I don't know. Yeah. I think I would say it's like 90% mental, and then if you're overweight,
and
there you go. Yeah.
that's where
That's
I
the
wouldn't
next
say
one. So
medical, but that's more of a like, okay, that's a realistic issue that could be.
yeah.
But a lot of I'm like, it's mental. Like you're not giving yourself like, I don't know, positive affirmations. I guess it might sound funny, but you know what I'm saying? Like you got something negative in your head that's fucking with you, so to speak. And that's probably where, and I think most dudes would agree with that. Like, I don't know, but
Yeah.
so do you think that comes from men lowering expectations to like protect themselves in some type of way?
Mm. I think a part of it is, yeah. Um,
Cause I'm trying to think like, why did like,
but
I mean,
I think that I think you can get so deep. I did quite a bit of research for this. Uh, research for this was really weird, by the way. So let's just leave it at that. By the way, we're not gonna we're not gonna touch on how weird that this rabbit hole was and why it's nuts. Okay, so I I believe that there is going and is a generation, I think 23 and maybe I don't know, lower. I don't know how long this is going to last, by the way. But I think we're going to see a large generation of male pornosexuals. And that's what they call themselves, by the way. They call themselves pornosexuals. And I think that,
so there's a term.
yes,
That's how far this has came. That's crazy.
yes, exactly. So, like, we're behind, by the way.
Yeah, I'm out of date. I'm like, you mean the motherfuckers that just watch porn all the time? Oh, okay, that's what we called.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah. But like apparently it's so extensive that there are large communities online of it. And
See what the internet has done?
yeah.
I feel like that's just like dudes not trying anymore to keep it 100. I feel like amongst other reasons, it's just that's how they avoid it's a safer thing. You got no chance of rejection, you got no chance of failing, I guess you could say. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to deal with it. There is no, you can almost just like get what you want and then you don't have to deal with anything else that comes with anything really because it's not like it's an experience. I feel like when you intimate with someone, it's more of an experience
Yeah.
than watching porn, you know? I don't know.
I would hope so.
I mean, to me it is probably most humans.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The but like there's VR people. There's people who are virgins but have spent hundreds of intimate hours in virtual reality. Like you know what I mean? Like uh,
And see, and I feel like we okay, we going back to one of our first episodes when the algorithm loves you back. So how we talked about keeping people like from reality, like the real reality is like dangerous long term. It's like the same thing there,
yeah,
or even
yeah,
with the people getting the babies, the comfort babies to like help them through. We're like, yeah, but how long can you use that as like a crutch or even as a helpful resource until it's actually damning to them? It's
yeah.
the same with virtual reality. Like the longer you're in there, and not, I, if you can have a balance to where it doesn't affect, your regular life, that's fine. But you're saying hundreds of hours, that it's got to be taking some type of toll.
Yeah, yeah, it's gotta
You know what
be.
I'm saying?
It's gotta be.
See, and to me,
Yeah,
that's just that on a man's part, that's avoidance from like, I don't know, different things because everyone has different like problems and traumas and
definitely.
triggers and things like that, but I feel like that's a way of hiding too because men don't get to, or it's not, it's commonly like the stigma is that men don't get emotional over things really. We don't, or we
Yeah.
shouldn't, when really like they just keep it quiet because sometimes you're even more noticed for like failing than you are for succeeding in a way. Like when you're
Hmm.
when you're doing your thing, no one's saying anything. Oh yeah, he's knocking it out. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
But then if you fuck up, it's like now it's front and center, front page news. So it's easier just to keep yourself out the limelight because you're like, I don't want to risk fucking up. Because I mean, everyone does. At some point, you're gonna strike out at something. So
Yeah. And like I think that's like if we could circle around to like one thing that men could do that would change a lot is admitting defeat and accepting that you can grow from it. I think a lot of the issues what we talked about within male communities, like male exclusive communities, could be solved by just admitting defeat and being able to grow.
yeah, I think that's huge. I think some of the like most successful people, I'm just talking man wise for this example,
They're
like
all they're all men.
well, they're good. Yeah, yeah. These guys, it's just what they have, what they on the men's side, because we're not speaking to the female side. That's the only
I
reason.
know. I
Uh,
was. I'm sorry. Beginning of the show, me. I was trying to be misogynist and funny. I'm sorry, Jesse.
God, at the same time, you wild, you wild. No, but they all have that, like they all have. They're able to like accept the failure, acknowledge it, and like keep going. I think
oh
that's a
yeah,
healthy thing, like you're saying for guys. But largely, I think failure affects us more than like we like to let on, and we internalize it. But it manifests itself in different ways. Like you actually don't become maybe as successful as you could have been because you're holding on to like certain things, or you never took the time to really acknowledge it and let your brain like move on.
yeah.
You kind of like staying in this weird state where it's like that failure still affecting you because you never acknowledged it. So it just kind of lingers like it just happened and it keeps you sort of stuck in a way. And then you
Constipation.
literally. And then you start doing weird shit, like you start just watching porn all the time or something because you're too scared to like try to talk to like a woman, or you don't want to deal with a woman, or you don't know how, which the only way you're gonna learn is to like you got to get out there and
Yeah,
deal with it. But just those type of things start happening, and then it's like a downfall, you know. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
do believe like the more that there's a downfall of young men, like in lifestyle and like with these virtual reality things, and just like you said, being oversexed, that was a good term. Um, that it affects the rest of society too. Like it affects young women. It's gonna affect kid. It's gonna affect like it's a ripple effect
yeah,
that it's gonna affect everything. You know.
yeah. And it sucks because men are the first ripple on this
Yeah,
thing.
it does start with us, like, and not in a like dominant type of way. I just feel like it just for whatever reason, you could probably pull different. Like it does start with men, like as far as
Yeah,
like
I think it's testosterone. I really do. I think there is, it's the slight, it's a double-edged sword. It gives men so much drive to do everything, dumb or otherwise. But it gives us so much drive. And maybe, a little less, we might be in a more cohesive place, but we would have never gotten to where we are without it, which is a
oh
bummer
yeah,
because, you know, testosterone growth, tears at the fabric of everything around
yeah.
it. Just like muscle growth.
But it's that just speaks to the biology, because like yeah, like you said,
Mhm.
without it, would we have like achieved what we achieved in as short, if you will, a time as we did? Maybe we would have got there, but it would have took longer, like 200, 300, 400, 500 more years to be where we're at
Oh yeah.
right now because of testosterone and the push and the you
Yeah,
know,
you think Cortez is coming taking over Mexico without
right?
just like insane testosterone coursing through his veins? A fucking psycho.
Yeah. He had too
Marco
much going on.
Polo, like just like sailing across, going across the world, like insane. And like that's one of the things they've done
How it
research
affects
on.
your decision making,
Yeah, yeah, it's just like completely. I'm not going to say erratic, but it's clearly danger prone.
way more aggressive than I feel like people naturally
Extremely.
are, male or female. Like
Yeah,
if you just compare decisions, like you're like, this
yeah.
guy's way more aggressive.
22-year-old
He's
men. How old was George Washington? 24.
yeah,
Balding ass 24. But like,
the stress.
I mean, yeah, the stress and all
Um,
the testosterone. Like when
they're
you
just
like that.
shredding his hair right out. That's what was happening. My man was just losing. Like, you got too much, man. Moderation.
I mean, but like, you get a whole country out of it. Even if our country is a slave to the crown still, just like Australia, and we just hide it in our taxes. But whatever.
He is on a dollar bill though. No.
I know. I'm just saying.
In testosterone we trust, it says all of a sudden on the back.
Yo, you remember? You know who Rich Piana is?
I don't.
Damn. Okay. Well, he's like a Bay Area legend, right? California, Bay Area, San Diego. He ran this nutrient like supplement company distribution, and
Okay.
he would distribute. I mean, you got a new pre-workout, he'd distribute it. He's like, if anybody wants it, you can sell it through me. But um, so he made a good living, right? Expanded his whatever you want to call it empire, and his the group of them, they called themselves something like the 3%er, 2%er crew, 1%er crew. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But they were like in test we trust, like literally. And so I ended up working with one of them at a different job, and he had like synthol like injection like scars that had like what do you call it?
That's
They get
crazy.
infected and stuff. Yeah, like sick, like sick body, like male, sick example of male body dysmorphia. You know, like there's healthy ways to deal with male body dysmorphia, injecting oils into your muscles so that they tear and bulge at your skin is not how to do it. There is no reason for like site injection for like extra pump for extra growth. You're not that good at bodybuilding. The people that do it, they're literally like one of the top three people in the world. So like, let's leave it alone. Like, we're not doing that. You're not doing that. He's an F1 sports car. Like, you are a Volkswagen Bug, and that's okay. You're a beautiful creation and a well-functioning machine. This thing's gonna break if you breathe on it wrong. So like, but like working with him was like I thought a great example of a lot of what I'm talking about. You know, he took steroids because, you know, he wanted the like idea of getting bigger and succeeding constantly to never go away. You know, he had a crippling porn addiction, which is why he got fired from this job, by the way.
Oh
he was
shit.
he was watching porn in the kitchen like during work, like while he was making eggs. He just had his like phone going, like sound on, by the way. So it's like it'd be one thing, you know, it's one thing I've worked with.
It's just more brazen. Sound on?
Yeah, sound on was nuts. But like fucking why I can't but like I haven't thought
What
about this
the
guy in a while. Um
that is
yeah,
wild. It's
that
almost
yeah,
unbelievable.
crazy.
It's like no way.
Yeah, he got fired bad though.
I mean,
As he should. Yeah, so
fucking
weird.
up
Such a
breakfast.
weird. No, he whipped breakfast. Let me tell you. Well, he was like 300 pounds of like I do steroids. So I'm not gonna say he was ripped, but like he definitely was big, and like he was definitely big, like big puffy, like maybe 20% body fat, but like big, you know. Like that's like what he liked, like big beefcake. You know, he hated this, but there was one somebody else that worked in the kitchen that was a woman our age and would say like, "Oh, he's got the best gay body that she's ever seen." And it would just tilt him so hard. But like again, that's a perfect example of like that male success brain getting so sick to think that the best gay body wasn't like actually a huge compliment. You know, like
Yeah.
he got getting hung up on the wrong thing. Like, no, it's the best gay body isn't the best body because men are just men. You know, it's like it's not like there's a difference. You know, like so. I don't know. I feel like I'm so high. I'm rambling.
No, I guess you. He was focusing on the wrong part of it. Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
understand.
entirely. You know, we found out like he came and worked out with me once, and bro, he couldn't even like squat his body weight. I was like so fucking confused.
That's crazy.
I'm like,
Like, but you're walking around. I mean, you ain't squatting, but like you carrying it. That's weird. That's how you know the shit was fake.
yeah,
I'm
sad,
like, he's
sad.
probably just bloated.
Bro, he did do some sick curls though. No, he was ripping those 60-pound curls like it was nothing. Like, that's pretty impressive. Like, some strict 60-pound, a lot, a lot. I always move. I always move too much. I want to move. I want to explode.
Would you agree that you think men operate in like survival mode a lot of the times?
Almost entirely.
Right? I would say like 90% of the time men are in like survival mode,
Yeah.
like calculating the risk of like fucking everything.
Yeah. I mean, can I have another beer? What are the chances I get pulled over? You know, all about the wrong stuff, right? All
Should
about the
I
wrong
light
stuff.
this right now? Yeah, like it's always questions like
I'm walking past the park. Fuck. I mean, they're playing baseball, but I really need to take a piss in this bush. It's like, but yeah, I think survival mode's a good way to put it. There's like, there's no time for, you know, your friends' kids' names if you're only trying to survive.
right?
Yeah.
That's all that's on your mind. And then I feel like men can come off as like being avoidant, being in survival mode all the time, but it's more just being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do with being overwhelmed.
Yeah, you hear like stories from these dudes that all around them they're going through war, and you're like, oh, I just kept cleaning, I just kept doing my watches, I kept fixing them, and it's like there's bombs going on outside. It's like, yeah, but I mean, I gotta just keep doing watches because that's what I do. It's like, okay, that's complete survival mode. Like that's like so far beyond survival mode that it's like disregarding what actually like might like maybe you close your business and get out to the countryside.
You know what I'm saying? That's like extreme coping, like kicking in, like on an extreme
Yeah,
level, because it's almost like there's a level of shock or like avoidance, you could say, because like, okay, you're avoiding the fact that your whole store could be leveled next at any second, you know?
yeah. I think this is my last point. There is because to go on with what you just said, this mentality of going down with the ship. That is women and children first, right? Now, obviously, yes, that is how the human race goes on.
And most men are probably fine with that, I would say, like, most guys
Literally,
women,
yes,
of course, like, what the f it's natural
yes.
to us.
No, for real. Like literally, I'm gonna say like 80% of the time, and I like that again. That's very conservative. That's very conservative
It
because
is.
men are in this state of fight or flight at all points in their life.
Yep.
If it's over, like constantly ready for it to be over at any point. Oh, you mean my life could be over, but like women and children first, and like they're okay and they're happy. Like, oh yeah, that's literally the whole point of a man's existence.
Yeah, it makes it okay that if your life had
Yeah,
to if that happened, it makes it more okay, at least probably with the individual. To me, that's how it works, like, "Oh, yeah, I get some type of" it's significant then, in a way.
yeah. Now, I'm not saying like men should be pressured in situations to not save themselves. That's not what I'm saying. Again,
Agreed, agreed.
but the mentality of women and children first is what is a positive force on human society. Now, that same energy that we have for that feeling, and which is good energy, is being hijacked by the adver, advertising, bleh, the advertisements for the branches of the U.S. military. And this, again, this is a U.S. thing. If you're in Canada, I don't know if you have to deal with ads for the Canadian military. But let let's start real young. GI Joe. The idea of GI
Ooh, that's a good.
Joes
I hadn't even thought
is
about that.
planting in young boys' brains that they are meant to be sacrificed and they should be happy about it. They are a slave to the state, which they love, and they will be thrown to the fires to make sure the state stays okay. Now, it should only be my wife and child. That's where the hijacking happens. The state has said, "Oh, military, you'd love this. This is what you should sacrifice yourself for." When it should not be the state. That's like the toxic behavior of a parasitic creature, you know. And by the way, guess what? Women, not parasitic creatures. They are having children and expanding the human race. Not all of them need to. Now, if, but let's just leave that there. Just don't
That's
expect the same
true.
respect I have for my wife.
That's what, and that's beautiful. I love
That's it.
that. But yeah, no, I agreed. I feel like that's what you said. What I was trying to say in so many words before, I couldn't really. But perfect, like that seed gets planted early
Mm-hmm.
of certain things, the way we're supposed to feel or not feel. Like you're supposed to be strong and like you don't really strong and brave, and you take everything in stride. Like you're not concerned with how you feel or if something's wrong. Like we don't got time for that right now or ever.
You're a real American hero.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, and that comes first.
Yeah, yeah. Not the name. Name one GI Joe.
I don't even. Did I
I
even have?
mean,
G.I. Joe? I had a couple. I think I had a couple.
Barbie's name.
Right.
That's all.
I was into Batman. Okay, billionaire, giving back to his city
Yeah,
in so many
yeah.
different ways.
Against the government.
You know what I'm saying?
Like like
Super anti-government.
yeah. I mean, and like that is one of the powers of media, right? I was on the same wavelength. Batman, you know, Transmetropolitan, like these weird, fucked up. Why are we even thinking about like those weird branches of X-Men? Like, but what would I look like if I had been a GI Joe Boy Scout kid? I know for a fact, completely different.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this show right now,
Definitely not, bro. I mean, I don't know
which would
how.
be tragic. That would be
Yeah,
tragic.
yeah,
So,
huge mistake.
but no, yeah, I wouldn't be doing this show right now. Saying this would not be happening.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's
And I had
oh
even like when I was young, I had family members mention it to me like, "Oh, go into the military," it
oh yeah,
was that wasn't for me.
yeah. I and again, this is another rough one to talk about for male culture, but I think the military does a really hard job to steal your soul, or at least
Oh,
mutilate it enough that it's not the same.
yeah, I could testify to that because my dad was in the Marine Corps, and he told me that he's like, "Oh, they destroy who you are. Like as a person, they're gonna destroy that person and make a Marine." Or if you're he was in the Marine Corps, so he's
Yeah,
like, and then they make you a Marine. You're not that same
you're not
person you
you.
went
Yeah,
in as. Yeah, they're gonna erase that person. That's what the training camp and all. They're like kind of breaking that person, like beating them away, and then all that's left is like your training, your military prowess, as they say. So it really does like destroy who you are as a person. See, and I feel like to a degree, this is a whole nother topic, but when people come back from war or even get out of the military, I feel like sometimes that's why they're kind of lost because you don't have that sense of purpose or like who you are anymore. You're without the military, you're like, so they stay in there for 32 years. And I mean, you get your retirement and all that. And I'm not knocking that in any way. I'm just saying a lot of guys, it probably wasn't even for them. They just didn't know what else to do at that point. Kind of a loss of identity.
Yeah, and a loss of identity and then an erasure of identity.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that's another good thing for women to take from this. One of the biggest pushes people have in our life is the equivalent to self-nullification for men. Everyone at all times thinks that, hey, if your life's going bad, you can just erase it entirely and become a new person. I mean, who's at a slave to the state? But that's all it takes for you as a man. You know.
super easy.
Yep. And that like men feel that disposable that that it's very hard. That's usually the person that men end up marrying is someone that does not make them feel disposable. You know.
I agree with that. That's what I strongly agree with that. It's almost like that sense of like being needed versus being acknowledged. Like you rather be, I think, acknowledged than needed because being needed is a disposable in a way kind of thing. Like I need paper towels. Why? So I could like use them and fucking I can
Hmm.
go through them because I need them. Versus
Yeah.
like acknowledgement, like oh no, I want these. Like I'm choosing these. It's not just like some blind need that like yeah I'm gonna continuously need it. It's just gonna I'm gonna be running through it. Uh,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think men constantly feel the lack of inherent value that men have. I think
Yeah,
that
I agree with that.
yeah.
It's funny because they say like men are simple creatures, but I think we're not simple creatures. We just don't complicate things unnecessarily. Like we're just very straight to the point. We don't. It's not that we don't have depth. We just don't want to deal with drama. Like we just try to not be involved in the drama. We
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
deep. We feel deep things. We just women act more through connection, and we more act more through solutions. Like, is this fixable? If it
Yeah.
is, let's fix it. If it's not, then I accept that we can't fix
Compartmentalize.
it and move on. Literally, literally.
Yeah. But that's why those two brain patterns are so important to be, in a union. I'm not necessarily saying that a female brain pattern is what we're describing, but men can have that brain pattern, and some women can have the male style brain pattern that we were talking about.
Yeah,
And being able to match up that energy, that's it's one of the important things of relationship.
yeah. And I'm to a degree, it does come down to the individual. You can't just say, or like
Yeah.
someone can't say all men. It's just generally speaking. But I would say women are more like analyzers,
Oh yeah,
more of an
definitely.
analyzer than men. They look at the like why, the how, those kind of things, the pattern
Right.
behind the pattern. You know, and then men, we're just like, well, what do you want me to do right now? Type of shit. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to do right now? Very like, it's more straightforward and have like a simple straightforwardness, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. And a secluded straightforwardness as well. The things that we are hiding, we are very obviously hiding. you know, I think, but that's like part of it. It's like, yeah, that's obviously happening, but like that's over there. Yes,
Legit, legit.
one of my pots is on fire. It is not a worry to me.
Part of the plan. Be understanding.
Yeah, be understanding and nice.
All right, guys,
Bye.
we'll see you on the next one. Late.